deal with this for a second here. All right, I just need to double check you guys can hear me. Yeah. All right, so I think my audio is good. And I'm hoping everyone can hear me. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Yep. I'm going to be talking about the transfer portal this evening. I'm going to talk about the top, and I guess I'm going to go top 25. You see them over here. I don't agree with these rankings at all. It's just the way it is. It's 24/7 sports. But it's a list of names. And these are the available quarterbacks. I believe they're in order by rank. It doesn't look like they are. If you look, we got Ben Bryant, Hayden Wolf, Harrison Bailey, Isaiah Knowles. Okay, then it goes in order. So here's the rank. It starts with Peter Costelli at the top, and then it goes in order. So it's got these random four dudes at the top for no reason whatsoever. So here's the deal. I'm going to talk about the transfer portal. If you guys have anything you want to say, go ahead and put it in the live chat. I'll try to respond to you as I go, but I'm going to talk about each available quarterback. There's a long list. I'm going to try to load more players here. Let me see if I can load. Okay. There's a ton of quarterbacks available in the transfer portal. I'm going to try to go through, I don't know. Let's do the top 25. I don't want to get carried away. We'll just look at the top 25 guys. Who's available for your team? If you think they need a quarterback, if you're looking for a quarterback, I got you. But the reality is this: some of these quarterbacks aren't starting material. They're not going to come to your school and start. I know there's a lot of people at Auburn, like, give me a quarterback, any quarterback. It's like, slow down. You might have better quarterbacks on your roster, and you don't even realize it. Okay? So just temper your expectations there. Some of these guys aren't built for the portal or aren't built for your team or at your level or your echelon. And I'll talk about each one as we go. Like I said, I'll try to stop what I'm doing and read your questions. Good to see you, Steve. Welcome to the chat. So we'll start at the top. A best available quarterback, at least according to 24/7 Sports. I don't agree with anything of their rankings. I'm just going to talk about players, their fit, kind of their skill set, their origin, and then where they could possibly go. Okay, I try not to guess where people are going, so bear with me. But number one, Ben Bryant, starting at Cincinnati last season. He played well. He played okay. He was a starting quarterback for Cincinnati, but it wasn't like he was lights out. And you can tell that when they bring in somebody like Emory Jones, right? So Emory Jones coming over from Arizona State, the former Florida quarterback, transfers in, and they immediately say, "Hey, he's competing for the job." Now, I'm going to tell you guys, pardon me, I just got a pop up over here, that when I look, and I'm looking at this monitor for the list, when I look at Ben Bryant, I look at a guy that can start at Eastern Michigan, which is where he was at. Let me move this out of the way, right? Which is where he was at. He was at Eastern Michigan, played great, 3,000 yards passing, but once you get back to Cincinnati, moving to the Big 12, he is not a Big 12 quarterback, at least not where I'm from, not what I'm used to seeing. I'm used to seeing really good Big 12 quarterbacks. He is not it. He's not cut from that cloth. He is not him, right? And I think he knows that. Prater being there, Evan Prater, the star pupil, um, probably going to pass him on the depth chart, or at least a lot of fans want to see him get the ball, see if he can develop. But Ben Bryant, they say he might go back to Cincy. He's sitting there. We're looking for what offers he gets. I don't know. But he's definitely not Big 12 starting caliber quarterback worthy. I don't think so at all. Going to Eastern Michigan sounds ideal. I want to say the kid is from Illinois, if I remember correctly. So being from Illinois, maybe go back somewhere closer to home, an FCS level school, or go to another MAC school. I know they need quarterbacks. I swear to you, I think Ball State lost their starting quarterback. That'd be a great location for him. Something like that. Hayden Wolf, the next guy coming up. I have his list down, and I have some notes right next to their names. I have Hayden Wolf at 6'4", 235. This guy has 2 years of eligibility left. I thought he was okay at ODU. Now, he had been at ODU for 4 years, and he's on record for saying, hey, I've been here for 4 years. A lot of my friends left in the transfer portal. And I tried to go and check who were his friends. I'm assuming certain players, certain offensive linemen, or certain receivers. I don't know. But I can't see any rhyme or reason as to where he's going. He also said he's far from home. Now, he played high school ball in Florida. That's where he grew up. Might want to go back closer to Florida. Some of the schools in Florida don't need quarterbacks. But he's a young kid and he knows how to play. I think he's starting material for a Power 5 school. I really do. I don't think he can start and win the job this late in the season. So having missed spring ball, you're going to show up this summer, show up for the fall, and then start playing. You might have to stick to FAU and teams like that, or FIU. I know out of high school, FIU was huge on Hayden Wolf. So I'm looking for him to go down in competition. ODU was already at the lower echelon of the competition. Think about it. He signed an FCS deal when he got to ODU. So he signed to the FCS. He could be going right back to the FCS with this transfer. I wouldn't be surprised. So they tell me he's heard from Power 5 schools, Group of 5 schools, FCS schools. Not surprised. That's probably where he ends up. Hayden Wolf, that's his caliber. Harrison Bailey, I'm not going to call the kid a flop. I'm not going to say anything negative about anyone because I think sometimes the kids get overhyped coming out of high school. So playing on an all-time great high school team at Murrieta, shout out to BJ Ojolari, just got drafted this weekend, right? He was a teammate. Harrison Bailey playing with Ricky White at wide receiver, playing with, I guess, the greatest player on that team. What's his name? The tight end. I'm drawing a blank. He just transferred to Nebraska. Somebody can put it in chat and remind me. Eric Gilbert. I don't need anyone to remind me. I know the deal. So guys like Eric Gilbert, Ricky White, Harrison Bailey, it's terrible for them to flop in where they're at. So Bailey went from Tennessee to UNLV to follow, a coach that he trusted in Romero. Romero? What's the coach's name at UNLV that got fired? Sorry, guys. I don't like to be wrong. Marcus Arroyo. What's wrong with me? Marcus Arroyo follows him over there, doesn't win the starting job. Couldn't beat out Brumfield, right? So you can't win the job at UNLV. Where are you going to go next? That's a lower tier team to begin with. How do you win that job? If you can't win it, where do you go? Now, I know this. Harrison Bailey, 6'4", 220. The kid's going to get offers just off of sheer size, prototypical size and arm strength. He's got a good arm. But why do schools want this guy? I don't know. What do they see in him outside of the size? He's never really done it. So it's just surprising to me, So Harrison Bailey, one of those guys in the transfer portal, intriguing, 3 years of eligibility left. Someone's going to give him an offer. I hope he's ready to earn it. He reminds me a lot of Chase Bryce. Chase Bryce going to a big school, right? Chase Bryce went to Clemson initially, transferred to App State. Yeah, App State, and then started playing at App State. I believe Harrison Bailey should be in that realm. I'm going to check chat now before we jump on to the next quarterback. Do you think Colorado will look to pick up a veteran backup quarterback instead of going with true freshmen they brought in? I think it really doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. They can address the quarterback position, the backup quarterback position, with the transfer portal. But a majority of these guys that are hitting the transfer portal, at least the 25 I'm going to touch on, and I just threw that number out there. But most of the guys are looking for potential to start somewhere. If you go to Colorado, you know for a fact you're going to be on the bench for the next 2 years. Now, do you need depth at the position in case of injuries and things of that nature? Sure, of course. But you're going to be hard-pressed to find somebody wanting to show up and be the bona fide or literal backup, certified backup. So it's just one of those things. I don't want to go off on a tangent about how Colorado's not signing any competition. I don't think they need competition at the quarterback position. They have a 40-touchdown quarterback, right? Shedeur Sanders threw for 40 touchdowns at the FCS level and over 70% completion percentage. You can't find me 20, 30, 40 other guys at the FBS level that can go down to the FCS and throw 40 touchdowns and complete 70% of their passes. I know Anthony Richardson can't do it, right? There's people out there that can't complete 70% of their passes. So when you have an elite quarterback like Shedeur Sanders with precision and accuracy, you build around him and you make the best of it. Don't waste time looking for somebody else right now. They do need to find a developmental quarterback. They do need to find a quarterback of the future. Freshmen are fine. It doesn't bother me. The starters are great. I don't know why anyone's looking for anyone else. Like, who's backing up, Caleb Williams? Who's backing up Caleb Williams? Everybody's telling me it's a 5-star freshman. Everybody's got a freshman backing up one of their star players right now at all these major schools. Well, tell me who's backing up at South Florida. Who's backing up Jerry Bohannon? Because they were 1-11 last year, and no one's saying South Florida needs to get better backups. Right? Grant McCall is the starting quarterback at Coastal Carolina, and no one's stressing who's backing him up. It's such a double standard. Who's the starting quarterback at Northwestern? Anybody in here? Anybody in the chat? I got 12 people watching, a dozen of you. Who's the starting quarterback at Northwestern? And who's the backup? That's a Power 5 school, and you guys can't name it at all. And that's my point. Is there's such a double standard for the Colorado quarterback position? It bugs me. Sorry for the tangent. We'll keep going. What do I think about Staub? I don't. Hey, shout out to you watching my show for the first time in Canada. Okay, I didn't know Canada watches football. Shout out to you, Robert Morris. That's awesome. I think Colorado needs to beef up the O line. Their quarterback is going to get hit sticked. Yeah, Tree. Talking about Colorado, I'm only going to be talking about quarterbacks from the transfer portal, but I'm going to tell you right now, Colorado has about 15 offensive linemen on scholarship right now. 15. And I'm going to tell you, they have at least 8 guys that are studs. Their starting offensive line is very good. Coach Bill O'Boyle, great offensive line coach. They actually have really good players. They have BB coming in. That's an all-conference guy from the FCS level. They have actual legitimate starters. And this is what USEF learned the hard way, right? This is what some of their transfers learned when they came in. You get a Florida kid coming in, and Murgdahl, this guy comes in, and he thinks he's going to start from Florida, 6'4", 300-pound kid, and you're not starting, buddy. Get your second string. So it is what it is, okay? What do I think about Michigan State losing good players? Guys, I'm not in here to talk about every single thing in the transfer portal. I'm going to stay focused because people who want to come back and watch this live are going to look to see if I was addressing all the quarterbacks in the transfer portal. So I apologize. Keep your questions quarterback-oriented. We'll do another live to ask all these other questions and what I think about players being lost or what's going on, okay? What are the chances Chance Mann goes back? About 50%, right? He's got an offer from Montana. He's got an offer from Colorado. Pick one. Flip a coin. All right, so there you go. USC backup quarterback is some kid out of Los Alamitos, real decent. Yeah, I know. It was actually a rhetorical question. So let's go back to this list here. If you look, I'm at Harrison Bailey. Like I said, has prototypical size. They're going to give him an offer, but he's never lived up to the hype anywhere. They always say SEC transfer because he started at Tennessee. He started his journey at Tennessee, transferred to UNLV, and now we see him out here. Isaiah Knowles. They messed up here. He doesn't belong at the top. This is not even a dual threat quarterback at Navy. Isaiah Knowles never played. He's a Florida kid. He's 6 foot 190. He's a pro style quarterback. He was never going to make it. If he ever wants to play collegiate football again, he's got to go down to the FCS level. He's never going to get another quarterback offer, especially if you're leaving Navy after never playing there. Now, when it comes to star caliber recruits and players in the transfer portal, the number one guy is Peter Costelli. This is not a mistake. This is not an accident. Yes, Casey Thompson, former starting quarterback at Texas, former starting quarterback at Nebraska, going to take a visit to Auburn, maybe the potential starter. Casey Thompson is right here. He is below Peter Costelli. And that's because Peter Costelli, from California, coming out of high school, was a high four-star superstar. You see this rating right here? 0.9095. This was the truth. He runs a 10,800 meters. He is so athletic, so explosive, never seen the field. So coming out of high school, he signs with Utah. His offers are all the major schools. And he goes to Utah, and he never plays. Goes to Troy this year, never plays. Troy actually had Gunnar Watson starting, I believe, and then Doji behind him, and he just never did a thing. He still has 4 years of eligibility left, and I'm telling you right now, Peter Costelli, whoever signs him, that's a developmental quarterback that will be a beast. Now, he just keeps moving because he wants to play. He wants to be a starter. I don't think it's that he doesn't have the talent to play at Troy, which won over 10 games this year, or to play at Utah. He just wants to start. So that is a gem in itself. I wonder who gets him. Coming out of Mission Viejo in California, complete stud. Let me read what you guys got here. I'm sorry, I'm going to get to the chat here. I'm just now trying to understand college football. Does eligibility start after someone gets their master's? No. Eligibility starts as soon as you get to college. As soon as you get there, you have 5 years to play 4 years. That's usually how it works. Unfortunately, with COVID, you now have 6 years. 1 year just didn't count at all in 2020. So these guys are going to do what they need to do, right? They're going to go to schools. You can do a medical red shirt. You can do a red shirt. Don't be confused by it. The reality is you can only play 4 years. One of those years is going to be used as a red shirt. But if you played in 2020, it doesn't count. And if you played at Virginia last year, it doesn't count. Virginia, their entire team got an extra year of eligibility because of the mass shootings. So not only did they get the 2020 year, they got the mass shootings exemption. Virginia Cavaliers football team In about 3 years, all their seniors are going to be 26 years old or something crazy. I promise you. It's going to be insane. All right, so Virginia players, just so you know, they got an extra year of eligibility. Let me go back to the chat here. So what does that say about Costelli? So what it says about Costelli is he's chasing an opportunity to start, and he's willing to go to any level of competition to start. Going to the best team in the Sun Belt and trying to start there and didn't get the chance or didn't even take the chance to wait. That's his choice. I don't ever judge players for departing one school to the next. I don't think players should stay at one school and try to earn their keep like everyone says. And the reason I don't believe that's a very old school way of thinking is coaches don't do it. Coaches get poached all the time, and no one ridicules the coaches for it. I always think back to Boise State in the early 2000s, in the late 90s, early 2000s. And Boise State had this run where one of their coaches was Dirk Cutter. And Dirk Cutter got poached. And a Power 5 school took him, Arizona State took him away. So they hired the next guy, Dan Hawkins. And he was coaching at Boise State, Dan Hawkins was. And he starts winning, doing really well. And Colorado takes him right away. Then Chris Peterson takes over the job. And he starts going undefeated, winning games, winning bowl games, doing all those great things. And Washington takes him. Boom. And then Brian Harsin takes over the job. Harsin starts winning, doing really well, and Auburn takes him. We're talking about 20 years of coaches being poached from Group of 5 teams, from Boise State itself. I just gave you Boise State as an example. And no one batted an eye at it. Nobody freaked out and said, man, these Power 5 schools really need to stop poaching the talent from Boise State. Nobody said shit. So when I see a player moving from Group of 5 to Power 5 after 1 year, congratulations. I'm proud of you. You're doing exactly what the coaches are doing. That, to me, is equality. That's just how I feel about it, okay? So back to what I was saying here. Let's go back to the next quarterback on the list here. We're now at Michael Alamo. All right, so Alamo, he's the second guy. Is there another guy from Purdue here? There should be 2 guys here from Purdue. I don't see him. Brady Allen also jumped in the portal. So Michael Alamo, this is a huge kid. He's 6'5", 220. He's from Jersey, played high school ball in Jersey. Goes over to Purdue, wants to play for Jeff Brom. Jeff Brom throws the rock all over the place. If you didn't see last season, Charlie Jones had over 100 receptions, right? They threw the ball everywhere. Aiden O'Connell got drafted in the 4th round because of it. Everybody tells me Aiden O'Connell is going to go in the 7th round, Rico. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I know what I'm talking about. NFL teams draft him in the 4th round. They see something that I saw, which is a pure passing quarterback. This is why he was in my top 10. But nonetheless, Michael Alamo and Brady Allen will never start at Purdue because Hudson Card just came in. And Ryan Walters didn't recruit these kids, right? So Ryan Walters coming in, the new head coach. He was the defensive coordinator at Illinois. He was the defensive coordinator of the year for the entire country, gets his head coaching job, gets his big break, and he goes and gets Hudson Card. By all accounts, a pretty damn good athlete and quarterback. And now Hudson Card's on the inside track to be the starter, and he's going to be there. So these 2 kids jump in the portal, Alamo and Brady Allen. Now, Brady Allen jumped in the portal in the winter and then went back to school for a couple months, finished that semester, and now he's back in the portal again. I think Brady Allen, being a freshman, should go to Louisville. Your coach wants you. Jeff Brom recruited you out of high school to begin with. Go to Louisville or go to Western Kentucky and go play for Tyson Helton after, Austin Reed leaves to the NFL. Sit another year. But Alamo here, check this out. Alamo's 6'5", 220 from Jersey. Bro, go to Michigan State. Go to Boston College. Go to UConn. Go back to your location. Go to Rutgers. Rutgers needs quarterbacks. I'm telling you, Gavin Wimsatt is one of the – have you guys ever seen Rutgers stats? Oh, look at this. I'm going to pull this up, and I don't mean to get sidetracked here. But have you guys ever looked at Rutgers quarterback stats? This is why I'm telling you, Rutgers football stats. Wait till I show you. Wait till I pull this up on the screen for you guys. Wait till you see this quarterback statistics for Rutgers. This is all of their team right here. Their whole team, all their quarterbacks combined. I'm putting it in the window for you guys so you guys can see it. And their starter's Gavin Wimsatt here, the second guy. But look at these completion percentage. 44%. This is the guy you're going to the season with. A 44% completion percentage. It's bananas, bro. 44%, 45% in Vedral. But total, if this was your quarterback for the whole season, 1,800 yards passing, 11 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, If this was your quarterback stat line for the whole season, you'd be screaming at the transfer portal, get me a quarterback, get me a quarterback. This is worse than Auburn. Their leading passer threw for 700 yards. They had two guys. If you got two quarterbacks throwing for 700 yards, you don't have a quarterback. If you got two, you don't have one. That's how I feel about it. So when I look at a guy like Michael Alamo jumping in the transfer portal, you have a chance to go back to where you came from, closer to home, be a local legend, go to a school like Jersey, like Rutgers, and put them back on the map. You're a four-star kid, go out there and prove it. And Rutgers did something really great. Greg Schiano went back, hired his old offensive coordinator back when he had Tom Savage, back when he used to have, who were those receivers he had? Kenny Britt and Mohamed Sanu, some other great wide receivers that used to play at Rutgers. This is back when they used to be great. It's because of their offensive coordinator, and his name is like Sir Cotty or something. I'm bad with names, so don't judge me. But shout out to them for hiring a new offensive coordinator, getting back to their roots, and hopefully they can get a kid like Alamo and get him there and convince him to go there. Now we got James Foster. We're at James Foster here, four-star kid, ranked ahead of Casey Thompson. This is a crime, bro. This is criminal. Okay, James Foster, I promise you guys, he started his college career a long time ago at A&M. At A&M. James Foster, and I put it over here. I wrote FCS HBCU talent in my database. When I look at James Foster play football, I don't see a Power 5 starter. Obviously, he went to Charlotte and he couldn't start. Now, Ryan Reynolds, is it Ryan Reynolds? What's the kid's name? Chris Reynolds. Chris Reynolds was the starter at Charlotte for 5 years, bro. 5 years. How in the hell are you the starter at a school for 5 years in a row? Chris Reynolds. So here we got James Foster shows up, thinks he's going to win the starting job, and he ends up third string. He cannot even start. And Charlotte went out. Biff Poggi, new head coach, coming over from Michigan, coming over from St. Francis, right? St. Francis Academy. Biff Poggi just went out and got himself a baller from Bethune-Cookman, got himself some ballers from the JC level, got himself 30 transfers. Dude, there is no place for James Foster to play at Charlotte. So you take a four-star kid, was at A&M, goes to Charlotte, doesn't pan out, never starts, and now where's he supposed to go? Because Charlotte was one of the worst FBS teams last year, and you couldn't even start for them. So where are you going to go? FCS for sure. Okay, I'm looking like, dude, go to Campbell. Go to Campbell. Go to Ferris State. Go to Jacksonville State. Go to Kennesaw State. Give me something, James Foster. But you know what you aren't doing? You aren't playing at the FBS level. I really mean it. Another thing, before I go on, Charlotte just got a transfer this week, I think. You like my headset? I apologize. Thank you. Charlotte just got a transfer this week. What was his name? Bennett Meredith. Bennett Meredith, he's a quarterback from Arizona State. Now look, Arizona State, loaded at quarterback. Everybody wants to play for Kenny Dillingham. Brand new head coach in the Pac-12 at Arizona State. They saw what he did with Bo Nix, right? Been an offense coordinator at Florida State, Auburn, Oregon. This is the who's who, and he's really young. All these quarterbacks want to play for him. So they just got Rashada, 5 stars. They just got Jacob Conover transferring over from BYU, coming back home because he's an Arizona kid. They just got Drew Pine coming over from Notre Dame. They just got, there's one more. I'm drawing a blank. There's one more kid. I'll tell you what, it doesn't even matter. Meredith is a stud, and he's like 4th string at Arizona State. They just have too many quarterbacks. So Meredith decides to transfer, and he transfers to Charlotte. I'm telling you right now, Meredith is going to be a problem at Charlotte. I think he has 3 years of eligibility left. He's going to be a problem, and don't you guys forget it. So all you Charlotte fans out there, get excited. You got a real quarterback in the transfer portal. Back to the list. There's Casey Thompson. I already told you guys. Casey Thompson started at Texas. The kid can play. Goes to Nebraska. He still plays great. Throws for over 3,000 yards. My dog just woke up. I apologize for the barks. She's a little angry. And then, he loses his job to Jeff Sims coming in from Georgia Tech. That's a dual-threat quarterback. That's a guy who can really run the rock, and he's a little more explosive. At the same time, Casey Thompson was injured this entire spring, so he never got to show out. He never got to prove anything. So I think Casey Thompson's a quality starter at a Power 5 level. I think Auburn's severely interested. I've already told you guys 10 times over, Rutgers should be interested, right? There's 2 more that I thought should be interested. Michigan State losing Thorne, right? Peyton Thorne? Yeah. The deal is this. You play against Michigan State, you know the starter. I'm driving, damn it. I know the starter. Okay, my bad. Excuse me. Here's the deal. Michigan State plays against Nebraska in the Big Ten. They know them. They know what they have. You see a guy like Casey Thompson, and all you ask yourself is he legit? Like, can he do it again? Can he throw for 3,000 yards again without Trey Palmer? Because last year he had Trey Palmer. Trey Palmer took the top off of any defense, just got drafted into the NFL, former LSU wide receiver, transferred over, followed Mickey Joseph, a whole nother story. We'll get into that some other time. But Trey Palmer is so good, he can make quarterbacks look better than they are. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you, Anthony Still. Thank you for enjoying the content. Let me get back on track here. Logan Smothers. Dual threat quarterback. Logan Smothers kind of overevaluated himself. They say he's 4 stars here. I don't know how he got 4 stars. Out of high school, he only took trips to Nebraska and Ole Miss. He was like, yo, I'm only going to play for Nebraska or Ole Miss. Scott Frost or, Kiffin. That's it. I'm doing nothing else. And sure enough, he didn't play. He did not play at Nebraska. And that's just overvaluing yourself. It should have never happened. I'm trying to guess where I think he goes. No clue whatsoever. Dual threat quarterback. I hope he's realistic. He has 2 years, they say. I thought he had 3 years. I think this is a typo. Let me tell you guys something. The amount of typos I find on 24/7 and on 3 is disgusting. Somebody needs to call these websites and tell them, hey, man, Rico knows. Rico will fix all that for you. I'm trying to zoom in so you guys can read the names better. Let me see. I just scrolled here. Let me double check it. I'm checking my stream here. Maybe that'll blow it up just a little bit better for you guys. Just so you can see them. I apologize. Next quarterback, Braden Davis. All right. So if the name sounds familiar, I'd be surprised. Braden Davis is out South Carolina right now. He just transferred out. You don't know him. He's 6'5", 205. If that sounds like he's on a diet, he is. That dude is just a string bean. I've seen him in practice. Never saw him play in a game. But Braden Davis played 1 year at South Carolina. Nothing special. Now, he's from Delaware. And I understand. You're Mr. Delaware at football. You want to be somebody. But, bro, you need to go the Joe Flacco route. You need to go to Delaware. Enroll at Delaware and ball out. The NFL will notice you. But don't go to the SEC where you can't play ball. Just don't do it because you're not going to see the field. I don't know where he's transferring to. I hope he goes to Coastal or something like that. He wants to stay in the area. But the kid's a Delaware guy, 6'5", 205. Keep eating, fill in this frame, and figure it out. But high 3-star quarterback, but it's Delaware, bro. I don't know who you played against in high school. I really don't. Now, Grant Gunnell. I know who he played against in high school. A ton of people. So Grant Gunnell is a Texas quarterback. He got on the scene, what was it? Back in Arizona. So he used to go to Arizona in the Pac-12. His first year in Arizona, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. And I think this was in like mop-up duty / started a game or something. He didn't play the whole season. 9-1. Okay? Next season, I think his touchdown to interception ratio was 6-2. I'm looking at this kid like, man, every time he's on the field, he's a baller. But Arizona didn't need him. They didn't want him starting, so he transferred. And he transferred to, I believe it's North Texas. Let me scroll over so I can see. Yeah, he went to North Texas. Seth Luttrell was his head coach. He gets to North Texas, and he thinks he's going to start there. He never even made it in the starting lineup. And that's because Austin Aune showed up. If you guys don't know Austin Aune, it's a 28-year-old man who showed up to play college football. Austin Aune got paid $1 million out of high school. Went and played baseball for a while, then decided to play football again at like 26. Dude's got 2 mortgages, some kids he don't know about. Dude's still in college. I don't understand it. If I got a daughter who's 18, you're not dating my daughter, bro. You're 29. Get out of here. So anyways, he actually hit the transfer portal, and then he declared for the draft. He didn't get drafted. But Austin Aune obviously brewed out Grant Gunnell. He could play some football, and North Texas was fine. Now, North Texas fires their head coach. Seth Luttrell went 44-44 while he was the head coach at North Texas. I thought he did well. He even got them to the conference championship game this year. They lost in the conference championship, and they fired him. How do you fire a coach going to the conference championship? You must have big dreams. So with that, Grant Gunnell loses his spot on the team. And I want to say something though. They go and they hire somewhat of a quarterback guru. They hire Eric Morris at North Texas. You don't know Eric Morris if you're not Rico, you're not a North Texas fan, or you're not a UIW fan or a Texas State fan. So here's how it works. Eric Morris was at Incarnate Word at the FCS level, recruiting a beast of a team. He's getting Lindsey Scott Jr. He's getting Cam Ward, who's now the quarterback at Washington State. Cam Ward goes from UIW, Incarnate Word, up to Washington State. And Washington State brings Eric Morris with him to be the offensive coordinator at Washington State in the Pac-12. And Eric Morris does an amazing job for Washington State last year, and they win like 7 games with Cameron Ward. But North Texas saw that move and said, damn, that's a hell of a coach. We need to get him back in the state of Texas. He just left Incarnate Word. We need to get him back down here. And they hired him at North Texas, and he's the new head coach. What's crazy about it is Texas State did a similar thing. Texas State said, man, we need to hire a coach. And Texas State went and hired G.J. Kinney, the UIW coach. And people will all wonder, like, why is UIW so good at the FCS level? Who should be given credit for it? Is it G.J. Kinney or is it Eric Morris? Well, we're about to find out because they both got FBS jobs after coaching at that school. But North Texas, they need a quarterback. They actually got one. They got Chandler. What's the kid's name? ULM transfer. Forgot his name. I forgot it. Chandler Rogers. ULM. Chandler Rogers played at something Ridge. Spring Ridge? Chandler Rogers played at a high school, Ridge. What the hell is it? Starting quarterback at ULM, transfers to North Texas. He'll be the starting quarterback in North Texas. This is why Grant Gunnell jumped in the transfer portal. Your coach gets fired who recruited you. They bring in another quarterback, a dual threat guy, and Chandler Rogers from Lake Ridge High School in Texas, and that's how that goes. Sounds like some of these guys need a canary job. I'm just saying that. I don't know what a carny job is. Oh, a carnival job. Okay, they're carnies. Not necessarily. It's like a team full of Stetson Bennett's. Touche. So that's how Grant Gunnell enters the transfer portal. I don't know where he's going to go. He's not a bad quarterback. He's there. There's Micah Bowens. Does he sound familiar? Does Micah Bowens sound familiar to you guys? He got a bunch of college offers as a freshman in high school. He played at Bishop Gorman. They say he's 3 stars here, but he played at Bishop Gorman. He was a good quarterback in high school. Out of high school, he signs to Penn State. Goes to Penn State, if I remember correctly. Then he transferred to Oklahoma. Couldn't make the 2 deep at Oklahoma. He was there for 2 years. I think he needs to just lower his expectations, right? Go to UNLV, bro. You probably can't beat out Brumfield, but go to Nevada. Go to some other school where you get to actually see the field. Because right now you've gone from Penn State and Oklahoma, and you've never made the 2 deep. Be realistic about what you're doing, Micah Bowens. I think he's a graduate transfer. Which means he took school serious. I think he's got 3 years of eligibility left, but I want to tell you he's a graduate transfer. So, Micah Bowens, shout out to you. Now we got Peter Delaportes. I don't know much about Peter. I know a lot more about his team, right? I think he's at Boston College. Let me move this over so I can check. Yep, Boston College kid. I should be telling you guys where these kids are at. I think I have been doing that. Braden Davis, I told you, South Carolina. Logan Smothers, both Nebraska kids. Just double checking here. I apologize. We're good. So Peter Delaportes. You're at Boston College. There's no way you should not be starting. But they had a couple of guys at Boston College, and Jurevich come in, Phil Jurevich, right? And somebody else just passed this kid on the depth chart. He ends up 4th string in the spring. He knows he's not going to play. I'm telling you right now, I think he's FCS material, whether he knows it or not. I think he's FCS material. So he's not somebody you should be targeting in the transfer portal. And then we got Ty Keys. Ty Keys is Mr. Everything. Now, Ty Keys in high school You want to talk about one of the greatest high school quarterbacks of all time? Ty Keys is probably one of them. He won 3 state titles in Mississippi. He was Mr. Football in Mississippi for 3 years. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year in 2019, I think. But Ty Keys played 2A football, a little lower in the division, but he did everything. I think he has like Baker Mayfield type numbers back when Baker in college, threw for 14,000 yards. I believe Ty Keys threw for 14,000 yards in high school. I'm not even joking. Put up insane numbers. And for him to go to Southern Miss, he's at Southern Miss, and not beat out, I think it's Trey Lowe. And you guys ain't even ready for this. Ty Keys had less passing touchdowns than Frank Gore Jr. If you look at stats last year, Frank Gore Jr. had more passing touchdowns. Ty Keys had a little bit more yards, but they were just doing halfback passes. They were doing wildcat. They were letting Frank Gore Jr. throw the ball more than Ty Keys. That's bananas to me. I think Ty Keys is a quality FCS candidate. I think he's going to be a superstar when he finally gets to see the field. He's not a real dual threat. This man will just sling the rock. He can throw it everywhere. I watched his huddle tape. It's just amazing play after amazing play. Once again, small school, low competition. But, man, Ty Keys, what a high school legend. Okay? Caleb Johnson, I got him over here. Let me tell you guys about Caleb Johnson. Playing at Louisville. This is an Alabama kid. He needs to come back down to the South. All his offers were from the South. I think Caleb Johnson should go to a school like Tulane or something. He should not have been at Louisville. Most of his offers were like South Alabama. He did have an offer from Columbia, so he's extremely intelligent. Probably high ACT, SAT. Caleb Johnson having an offer from Columbia kind of opens up some other doors. Think Northwestern, Vanderbilt, opportunities like that. High academic institutions will probably offer him. But Caleb Johnson probably needs to go to a smaller school in the South. He's at Louisville. He jumps in the transfer portal. Could never break the top, never break the starting lineup or the 2 deep. And more importantly, they get a new head coach in Jeff Brom. So he's going to recruit and bring in his own quarterbacks. You got no chance of cracking the lineup at that point. So Caleb's gone. Next guy, Alexander Honig. He's leaving TCU. Don't get it twisted. That guy is German. Alexander Honig moved to America. He's German. He used to be a quarterback. He's not a quarterback anymore. I don't know why. Hey, shout out to 24/7 Sports for not knowing. That dude's a tight end, okay? He's 6'7", 260, something like that. That dude's a tight end. So if anybody needs a tight end out there, Colorado, there's a big-ass dude. He's a monster. Somebody go find his Twitter and look it up. Dude's enormous. Luther Richison. I'm going to say it wrong. I don't care. Luther Richison. He's coming from Cincinnati. All right, here's the deal, guys. First quarterback ever in the Elite 11 to sign with Cincinnati and Luke Fickell. Supposed to be a big deal. If you're one of those Elite 11 quarterbacks and you're at like that camp, the camp with Trent Dilfer teaching all the quarterbacks how to throw, and it's always like, oh, look, there's this guy. You see Kyler Murray right there. There's Josh Rosen. There's this guy. It's a who's who. I'm telling you right now, this guy, Luther Richison, was an Elite 11 quarterback. So it's remarkable that he went to Cincinnati. But put an asterisk next to it. And the asterisk is he's an Elite 11 quarterback because his high school coach was Trent Dilfer. Trent Dilfer was his high school coach. Trent Dilfer's running the Elite 11 camp. Trent Dilfer's got a bunch of quarterbacks out there, and when he decides who's going to make the top 11, he picks his own quarterback. So he's an Elite 11 quarterback, but kind of spoiled, kind of just whatever. I'm not with it. And I say spoiled because he goes to Cincinnati, and he realizes right away they brought in Ben Bryant, right? He transferred back in from Eastern Michigan. He goes, man, I'm not going to start. I'm an Elite 11 quarterback. I'm out of here. And he left before the season even started. He's been in this transfer portal since I don't know. You can look it up, since October. He's not a new addition. He's been in there forever, and no one's offered him since. And you know what's crazy? His high school coach, Trent Dilfer, went and took over to be the quarterback's coach at UA, or went to be the head coach at UAB. So your high school coach gets hired at UAB, and he doesn't offer you? You're not over there right now? You're not playing. You're an Elite 11 quarterback. You're the stud of all studs. You're not over there? Come on, bruh. The red flags. Red flags for me. Your high school coach isn't recruiting you? Man, Biff Poggi is recruiting every kid who ever stepped foot at St. Francis. Don't care who you are, where you're at on the depth chart somewhere. He doesn't give a He says, hey, come to Charlotte. Every last one of you kids. Trent Dilfer ain't screaming for this guy. I don't know what's going on. So Luther Richardson, I think he ends up at like an Eastern Kentucky. I think because he's a Tennessee or Kentucky kid. I think he ends up at some directional school at the FCS level. I'm not joking. I don't think he's FBS material. I really don't. I think it was all ploy to get him a damn offer. This guy says, didn't most of ASU team head to Charlotte? No, Steve Talbot, that's not accurate. I apologize. Not that I'm aware of. I haven't. Don't make me double check. I don't want to be incorrect. I don't like being wrong. That's my biggest problem. I can't just be wrong and keep it moving. Let's go check, man. I owe you an answer, an accurate answer. Let me pull it up real quick. Arizona State transferring out. Now, none of these websites are accurate, but I've got Arizona State. I've got one player going to Charlotte out of the whole group. I don't have anybody going to Charlotte except for their quarterback. If I'm wrong, somebody let me know, but that's where I'm at on this thing. I apologize. All right, back to the list. Devin Farrell. Man. Devin Farrell, he's at Virginia Tech, by the way, just hit the transfer portal. Devin Farrell was only there for 1 year. I watched him play in high school. He went to Milton High School here in Georgia. Good quarterback, good kid, kind of stoic. I always looked at it and thought, he's going to Virginia Tech. You know his other offers were like Georgia State and UAB. Like they weren't anything special. But you take the one Power 5 offer you got and you chase that dream with it. And he shouldn't have. He shouldn't have. And that got him on the bench, and then they don't renew his scholarship. So here he is looking for a school. Devin Farrell, he's a little bit better than, who's the other kid? Taj Bullock. He's a little further down this list. Taj Bullock. They're both from Virginia Tech. He's a little better than Taj Bullock, and I'll talk about Taj Bullock. He actually has some offers, but they're like Delta State, Hampton, UNI. Like they're not Virginia Tech. That should tell you what kind of caliber these kids are if they're getting offers at much smaller schools. So, anyways, Devin Farrell just miscalculated his own talent. I'm sure the kid's going to find an opportunity somewhere, I would hope, but he's going to have to lower his expectations and go the FCS route or a lower FBS level school. And he's going to have to take a year or two to develop. Caden Cobb. This is an Illinois kid. Where's he at right now? He just left Ball State. Number one, if you can't start at Ball State, bro, I got a problem with you. Because their starter was a guy named Patty, and he just transferred just to go to Illinois. He's not even going to play at Illinois. He just left. He said, I'm out of here. He's like a legacy member. His grandfather, his father, his great-grandfather, everybody, John Paddock. Everybody played at Illinois. So it's just his dream to be a part of the Illinois football team. They bringing in Luke Altmaier from Ole Miss. They don't care. John Paddock said, I'm going to go there too. Because coming out of high school, Illinois wasn't interested in him. So he goes to Ball State. He plays. He's the starter. And he's like, hey, man, it's my last year. I'm a graduate transfer. Give me a shot. And Brett Bielema said, yeah, you come on through. So you're telling me Caden Cobb couldn't start over John Paddock, who just gave up his job to go be a guy? Like, that's crazy. That's absurd. So poor Caden Cobb couldn't start there. He's an Illinois kid. He needs to go to, like, Southeast Illinois or Missouri State. He needs to go somewhere else. I don't see him doing much of anything. I think he's a 3-star, but he did win state. Okay, shout out to you, Cindy. Thank you. My day's going great. All right, let's go down here. We're on Jacob Knuth. Now this one's crazy to me. I got Jacob Knuth going to Stanford right now. I'm predicting this. I got him going to Stanford, but I got to tell you guys something. He's leaving Minnesota. Way down in the depth chart at Minnesota, never making the starting lineup. But he played high school ball in South Dakota. You want to hear something crazy? He never lost a game in high school. Never lost a game in high school, ever. Just reminds me a lot of Lincoln Kineholz, but like Lincoln Kineholz, if you guys don't know, incoming freshman at Ohio State. He won a bunch of state titles. I think he won 4 in a row. Lincoln Kineholz looks the part. He's an athlete. You watch him play basketball. He's dunking the ball. Lincoln Kineholz is a hell of a player. I'm excited for Lincoln Kineholz. I want him to win the job every year. I hope he works out at Ohio State. But I'm telling you right now, when I look at Jacob Knuth, this guy never lost a game in high school, South Dakota. There's no film on him. There's no film on him after his highlight tape, after his huddle film. He goes to Minnesota. He never played spring ball. He left before spring. I have no college film on this kid. I don't know how good he is, but I think he's going to Stanford. So, that's Jacob Knuth. They tell me he's got a cannon arm. Everywhere I read and everything I saw, it's South Dakota, bro. I can't really tell how strong your arm is. You're playing against middle schoolers. I don't know what that's about. Appreciate you, Howie OG. He said, here we go. Thank you very much for my great knowledge. Let's talk about JP Zamora. JP Zamora, they got him 3 stars here. He's at Washington State. He just jumped in the portal after 1 year. JP Zamora played high school ball in San Antonio. He's 6'4", 195 pounds. Another guy, probably a damn vegan, okay? I don't know. He needs some protein in his life. That's real. So JP Zamora, coming out of high school, I think he got injured his senior year in high school because he didn't play much his senior year. Son of a single mom. Shout out to Dion. So we all want those single moms. But this kid is 6'4", obviously Hispanic. Shout out to the Mexicans. But goes to Washington State and absolutely nothing. Okay, no chance to ever see the field. Nothing remarkable. So I don't know where JP Zamora goes from here. Let me tell you this. I was looking up some stuff on him the other day. He has an offer from Kentucky Christian, the Knights. They're an NAIA school. Their stadium seats 1,000 people, bro. I fit 1,000 people in this house right now. Okay? I don't know if you want to go play football where only 1,000 people can be in the stadium. But that's the only offer he has. I didn't know NAIA schools could give offers, but that's the offer he has on his Twitter. I did my research. I want to know more about you. If there's any JP Zamora fans out there that can tell me his favorite place to eat or his snacks or his hobbies, let me know, bro. Because right now, coming out of high school, let me get this straight. Utah, UCLA, Nevada, Washington State, all offers. He's got all these Power 5 offers coming out of high school. You go to Washington State for 1 year, and you don't have any of these offers anymore? Now we're going NAIA? What's going on, bro? Northern Colorado can't call you? McCaffrey just got fired. Northern Colorado can't call you? Somebody, bro. Montana State can't call you? Eastern Kentucky? Eastern Washington? Somebody. Portland State. Well, they just got a 5-star. That was a joke. All right. Next is Keelan Brown here. Keelan Brown, where's he at right now? Georgia State. It's hilarious. So Keelan Brown, he transfers in. Now, he was at Memphis for 2 years. Played in like 2 games. Transfers into Georgia State. Thinks he's going to play. Bro, have you guys seen Georgia State play? I watch Georgia State play. That's my problem right now. Darian Granger has never come off the field at Georgia State. Darian Granger's still on the field right now. They don't play any other quarterback. Not another. They played this other kid. I forgot his name. He didn't throw a pass. He ran the ball. He's got a weird last name. I forget it. But I'm telling you right now, Georgia State plays 1 quarterback. And poor Keelan just found out the hard way. You transfer from Memphis. You go to Georgia State. Bro, that's a lateral move. You think you're going down in competition from Memphis to Georgia State? That's a lateral move, bro. You're not making that starting lineup. And he found out the hard way. So, shout out to Keelan Brown. We're going to figure it out from there. Richard Torres. Everything I said about JP Zamora, same thing for Richard Torres. But here's the difference. This is a lesson learned for the team in Nebraska. Richard Torres is at Nebraska. Richard Torres got injured his senior year. Richard Torres is the only player from Texas in the 2022 recruiting class for Nebraska. I want you guys to think about that. You're in Nebraska. You're Scott Frost. You're trying to become relevant. And the only guy you recruit from Texas is Richard Torres. What? Where's the pipeline? That's a state that's producing over 200 NFL players. Where's the pipeline? And the problem is Scott Frost was successful at UCF, recruiting Florida. He goes undefeated at UCF recruiting Florida. So when Scott Frost gets to Nebraska, he keeps trying to recruit Florida and get all those kids to come from Florida, and they're not making it over the southern states. They're not making it over the SEC. You're not getting any star players from Florida to leave Florida to go to Nebraska. It's not happening, Scott Frost, and that's why you're fired. right? Matt Rule comes in. Matt Rule starts hiring Texas high school coaches. Matt Rule starts hiring Texas high school coaches to be position coaches. But they got enough pull and enough rapport and enough guidelines to go out there and start getting kids from Texas to go up to Nebraska. So when you see a recruiting class in 2022, only one player from Texas, it was Richard Torres. That's absurd, bro. That's a damn trivia question somewhere. That's an answer to a who wants to be a millionaire type question one day, at least in the sports department, right? This is absurd to me that a coach would go to Nebraska and not try to recruit Texas. Shout out to you, Scott Frost. You're unemployed, bro. Real talk. Now, Matt Rule, he's doing it right. The other thing that Scott Frost did wrong was he brought in Mickey Joseph. Mickey Joseph, now the charges were dropped, but Mickey Joseph being a recruiting coordinator, a wide receivers coach at LSU, coaching every wide receiver from LSU that you know, okay? Then he transfers, Jamar Chase and Justin Jeffries and all them dudes. When Mickey Joseph moves to Nebraska, he brings DeColdis with him. Now, DeColdis is gone. He went back to La Tech. He went back to Louisiana. But he brought DeColdis with him, and he brought Trey Palmer with him. Two really good playmakers. I get it. But the wrong answer was trying to out-recruit LSU and all the SEC teams for Florida players. That's what Scott Frost did wrong. If I was assessing his job right now, that's what he did wrong. So anyways, Richard Torres, Nebraska. He's in the portal. He's available. Don't know where he goes. Houston Baptist, something like that. Taj Bullock, like I said, another Virginia Tech transfer, a little lower on the totem pole than Devin Farrell up above. Taj Bullock has offers, but they're Delta State, Hampton, and UNI. Deion's getting a lot of players to come to Colorado. Yeah, Deion's got a little bit more pull, a little bit more, what's the word, charisma? Oh, Deion's got some riz, y'all. Deion can do it, okay? He's charismatic. He can recruit. I think the latest one, Omarion Miller said, hey, man. Was it Omarion? Omarion what? Was it Miller? The kid from Florida State today? Omarion Cooper. My bad. Dude, errors here on my part. Just too many names I'm saying today. Omarion Cooper coming over. If you read the interview, he says, man, I really love the way Colorado looked. I really like all this. And then he goes, and why wouldn't I want to play for a guy from my hometown? Why wouldn't I want to play for a guy from my hometown is what he said. Really cool stuff. Good for these kids for being, impressed by something. So next quarterback, are we 25 deep? How many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 25. All right, Justin Lamson, quarterback. He's at Syracuse. Let me tell you about Justin Lamson. Justin Lamson literally won the second string job to this spring. So Schrader's their starting quarterback, undeniably. Schrader's a beast. Okay, Schrader is the starting quarterback for Syracuse. He's also been their leading rusher 2 years ago. One of their beast dash. I think he had more rushing yards than Jahmyr Gibbs 2 years ago. Dude, I'm gonna check that out. Watch this. What is it? ACC rushing leaders 2021. Check this out. 2021. I'm going to pull this up for you guys. I want individual stats, bro. Conference only stats, rushing, leaders. Give me individuals. There it is. What year is this? What's going on here? Select the season, 2021. This kid Schrader, bro. Why are these websites like this? Why are these websites like this? They don't know what they're doing. Okay. Look at this stuff. This is 2021 right here. You guys see this list of names right here? Can you even read this? I got to zoom in a little bit. There's Garrett Schrader right there, 9th. There's your boy, Jahmyr Gibbs. Garrett Schrader had more rushing yards than Jahmyr Gibbs in 2021 in the ACC. You guys see that? I hope everybody saw that. All right. So, Garrett Schrader's the starter at Syracuse, hands down. There's no other way around it. So this year, he sits out the spring. I'm checking my stream real quick, make sure you guys could read what I saw there. So Garrett Schrader's the guy. Yeah, you guys saw it. Okay, so check this out. He sits out the spring ball this year, and this gives Justin Lamson, he's coming off an injury. Justin missed a whole season or whatever. And Justin Lamson goes out there and passes Carlos Del Rio Wilson. Carlos Del Rio Wilson. Yep, that's his whole name. They just call him Carlos Del Rio. CDRW. CDRW. He passes CDRW. CDRW, Carlos Del Rio Wilson, I saw him play in high school. He was here from Georgia. He actually signed with Florida out of high school. Couldn't make it at Florida. Wasn't good enough. He's not SEC caliber. Transfers up to Syracuse. And he just got passed by Justin Lamson on the depth chart. In the spring, Justin Lamson balls out. Pause. He balls out, and he beats Carlos Del Rio for that second string job. But instead of saying, I won the second string job, Justin Lamson says, deuces. Right after the spring game, played his ass off, played great. He says, I'm out this joint. And he leaves, and he hits the portal, and he's trying to cash in. I'm not even mad at the kid. He's trying to cash in and be somebody. Shout out to him. That's what you do, man. Props to you. So that's how we go there. Now, check this out, 24/7. I got these guys listed here. As I go through the list, I went through 25, and right on the money, the list starts repeating itself again. I already covered all these guys. Shout out to this website, bro. Oh, my God. Hold on. This can't be right. This says Braylon Braxton is in the portal. I know Braylon Braxton's not in the portal. Okay? He is not in the portal. He's from Tulsa. If you guys haven't seen Braylon Braxton play, I want you to go on YouTube. Go on YouTube and search Braylon Braxton and just hit enter and see what comes up. You're going to see a beast of a player. You're going to see Braylon Braxton is the future at quarterback at Tulsa. So he jumped in the transfer portal, didn't like his offers, what he was getting, and so he withdrew. He is the starting quarterback at Tulsa right now. There's no quarterback controversy at Tulsa. He's the starting quarterback. Nothing comes close. Braylon Braxton was beating out. This is exactly why, what's his name, who just transferred out. He's starting at Georgia Southern right now. Come on, Rico. I never get his name wrong. What is wrong with me? What's his name? Quarterback. Davis Brin. This is why Davis Brin left. I know Davis Brin wanted to go put up more stats, but the reality is a guy like Braylon Braxton is just so dynamic and so explosive. If you ever see him, you'll be like, holy smokes, Braylon Braxton's real. So get excited about Tulsa football. They got the little Presley brother. Oh, my God. They got Presley to transfer back in. Braylon Presley, Braylon Braxton, these are phenomenal players at Tulsa. The Presley brothers are royalty in Oklahoma, right? They played at, what's their high school? It's been in 9 state titles in a row. Bixby. Bixby's been in the state title game 9 years in a row, or 9 out of 10 years now. Bixby is a perennial power, and it's all because these damn Presley brothers. And Braylon Presley is the most explosive little dude I ever seen. 5'6", 160, 70 pounds. He went to Oklahoma State for 1 year, and now he bounced, and now he's over here at Tulsa. Now, what's crazy is he's just a little small. I know he's undersized. But his older brother is still at Oklahoma State. He's getting ready to go be a pro. But those brothers are great. But Braylon Braxton, he's not in the portal. Shout out to you, 24/7, for having it all wrong. Jalen Henderson just jumped in the portal. He, third string at Fresno State. He couldn't start there. Not a chance in hell. This kid had another offer from, from Columbia as well. So this is a really smart kid. Look for him to go to Northwestern, Stanford, one of the academic institutions for sure, or the Ivy League. Really smart kid. There's Bennett Meredith. I told you guys about him. Bennett Meredith, 3-star. I told you he's going to Charlotte, and he's gonna ball out. Okay, I've kind of gone down the list a little far to where people don't really know these guys, and they don't really have a chance to play anywhere at the FBS level. Kinky Dent's here from Ole Miss. I get it. He's never been anything worth talking about. Zach Roseman just found out J.C. French can play some football. So if you guys don't know what's going on at Georgia Southern, number one, Kyle Van Treese transferred in to Georgia Southern last year, was the 5th leading passer in the nation. Okay, you're the 5th leading passer in the nation at Georgia Southern. Now all these quarterbacks want to get there and play. So Davis Brin leaves Tulsa. Bo Allen, who was at Kentucky, leaves Kentucky, goes to Tarleton State. Then he realizes, hey, I'm at the FCS level, dominating. Let me get back into the FBS. And what's really cool is when Bo Allen was in high school, he was being recruited by Kentucky and Western Kentucky. And the head coach at Western Kentucky is Tyson Helton. He's the god of the spread offense, right? Him and Jeff Brom could throw for 5,000 yards every year with their teams and their quarterbacks. That's why you see the Western Kentucky going crazy. Western Kentucky offense. It's also because of Zach Kitley from Houston Baptist, who's now at Texas Tech. I go on and on and on. But the point is Bo Allen, out of high school, was being recruited by Kentucky and Western Kentucky. So when Bo Allen goes down to Tarleton State to play last year at the FCS level and balls out, Tyson Helton calls up his brother, Clay Helton. They're brothers, Tyson and Clay. Clay is the head coach at Georgia Southern. Calls up Clay and he says, hey, bro, you might want to look into this guy at Tarleton State. He can come up to you for your school and start playing and throw that rock around. So there's a quarterback controversy. You got Bo Allen coming from Tarleton State to Georgia Southern. You've got Davis Brin, the starting quarterback at Tulsa last year, coming in to Georgia. Everybody wants to be there because somebody's going to lead the country, be in the top 5 for passing. It's nuts. It's insane, right? And then J.C. French is a kid who grew up playing Georgia high school football. He went to Memphis for 1 year, transfers out of Memphis, coming back home, and he got the spring ball. And Zach Roseman found out right away, J.C. French is better than me. I'm now 5th string. I'm now 4th string. So now there you got Roseman in the portal. So that's how that works. Now let's go look at some guys who signed earlier and are actually committed. I hope we're cool. So now committed quarterbacks. Let me see, and I'll take your guys' questions in the chat, and we'll go from there. Shout out to those of you who are watching. Thank you for the thumbs up and liking. We're an hour in, and so we spent an hour talking about who's available in the portal. I'll touch on who here has committed to schools. A lot of the names you know. We know how the quarterback battles are going in the spring. I don't think I'm going to shed any new knowledge onto you guys. If you haven't noticed, I can talk about these guys seamlessly for hours. I do know all the players. There are times I might get a name mix up or I might get a stat wrong, but it's rare. But I appreciate you guys for being here. So who's the quarterback for Bama this fall? And then you've got an elephant. That's not an elephant, bro. That's a woolly mammoth. Whoever the quarterback is for Bama will be extinct. Retweet it. Okay, got it. So Buckner just coming in. He didn't transfer in not to start. I'm going to tell you that right now. Tyler Buckner. And more importantly, he has his offensive coordinator. Familiarity with the offense, with the terminology, with the expectations of the coach and what he wants. I think that's going to win out. I don't think they give out scholarships lightly. If you look at Oklahoma as a whole, at Alabama as a whole, when you look at their transfer portal class, Alabama has 20 to 21 guys in the portal. They only signed 3. 20 to 21, they only signed 3. They signed Tresman Marshall, right? The linebacker from Georgia. They signed C.J. Dippre, the backup tight end from Maryland. And they want you to think he's great. He's a backup tight end at Maryland, but supposedly amazing. No, it's because all your tight ends suck. Sometimes these SEC teams, sometimes these Power 5 perennial powers have some position groups that are terrible, and no one wants to tell them. Okay? Shout out to Georgia and their wide receiver group for Lad McConkey showing up and just being the starter every single day. What does that say about all the rest of the guys in that room? Or why their star running back, Kenny McIntosh, squeaks into the 7th round. Lucky to be drafted. What are you telling me when you guys get in here and go, Rico, we got 4 pros in our running back room. We got 4 guys that are going to be drafted. Really? 4 guys going to be drafted? The best one in that room went in the 7th round. These dudes better do some development in a hurry. It's running back by committee. The reality is they're winning games. Shout out to Brock Bowers, a kid from California. Shout out to the Unicorn for being amazing. Okay? But nonetheless, sometimes these position groups are underperforming and not near as good as you think they are. And if a backup quarterback from Notre Dame can show up and be the starter at Alabama, those quarterbacks aren't good. You missed a lot in recruiting. And Alabama missed a lot in recruiting. That's why 20 kids are in the portal. That's why they're out there benefiting other teams, right? 20 kids in the portal and you sign none because you're signing 30 in your recruiting class. It's attrition. It's needed. You can only sign 30. You can sign as many as you want, really. There's no cap this year. What I'm saying is, sign 30. You can only have 85. Somebody's got to go. So they don't care. They just keep missing. They'll over-recruit positions, keep missing. I see 5 wide receivers from Bama in the transfer portal in the winter. 5. I go check the roster. I'm like, oh my God. 5 guys. Trayshawn Holden. 2 of the guys never saw the field. Christian Leary was there. I mean, I was like, yo, what is going on? But they don't care. Just keep reloading. Just keep recruiting. That's why it's so important when they finally use a scholarship on a guy like Buckner. To me, you either lose a quarterback to make room for him, or you're getting a starting quarterback. That's what it really comes down to. So that's what was surprising to me. Nonetheless, let's see who's been signed. We already know Walker Howard. He's there. He's depth at Ole Miss. Left LSU. He's at Ole Miss. Spencer Sanders might start. We don't know. We'll see what happens. Sam Jackson. I thought Sam Jackson was going to start at Cal. So he leaves TCU. 3rd string at TCU. You got Max Duggan. Really, not really though, right? Chandler Morris was the starter. Max Duggan was 2nd string. Sam Jackson was 3rd string. Now, Chandler Morris is fragile. He's like Chris Chandler, right? Chandelier. This guy will break if you touch him. Like, boom, bump into him. Shit's broken. So Chris Chandler, although he's a baller, Chandler Morris is a baller. He got hurt. Max Duggan gets the job, and the rest is history. They go to the national title game. Now, they're at the national title game with a backup quarterback. Don't get it twisted. But Chandler Morris is what it is. So Chandler Morris is back. He's going to be the starter. And they just got Chance Nolan coming in. So, cool. They need some depth. They need some insurance. And that guy's injury prone as well. They got 2 dudes just super fragile. It says it on the box. Fragile. Hold this way up. Don't drop. That kind of shit. But Sam Jackson, young kid, can really play some football. So he goes to Cal to be the starter. And I think that Cal is comfortable with him as the starter. I thought that until this week. Because then out of nowhere, they signed Ben Finley. Ben Finley, the younger brother of Ryan Finley, NC State. He was 3rd string at NC State. And he's transferring. He's looking for another school. And this is why I'm telling these kids. If you're at NC State and you can't start at NC State and you're losing your starting position to a kid named Armstrong, bro, give me a break. You don't go transfer to another Power 5 school like you're going to start there or you're going to compete for playing time. Unless you want a degree from Cal Berkeley, and I don't blame you. But don't tell me you're going to go beat out Sam Jackson. I don't see it. Cal coaches, I don't blame you for signing depth at the position. Or maybe you just saw Sam Jackson all spring and you said, we need some help in this quarterback room. This kid isn't as good as we thought he was. Maybe. I still think Sam Jackson's the starter. Could be wrong. Usually ain't. Usually I'm all right. But we'll see what happens. All right. Next quarterback that's signed is Sam Heward. Going to Cal Poly, playing with his high school coach. Former 5-star. Look, they took him down to 4 stars. They gave out too many 5-stars that year. That's the same year Ewers came out. They're just giving out 5-stars left and right. Stop giving them out, man. Sam Heward didn't deserve one. Jake Garcia. Can't start at Miami, so transfer to the SEC, bro. Can't start at Miami, so transfer to the SEC. Now, Jake Garcia, I think Ja'Cory Brown was passing him on the depth chart. Brown's a really good 6'4", 220 kid out of Lowndes, Georgia. He's really good. But Jake Garcia, I've never been impressed with this kid. They tell me he was a great quarterback in California before he transferred to Georgia. But when he got to Georgia, there was some controversy going on. And there was some rules about his mom and dad were separated, supposedly, so he could live in this school district and play at this school. He went to go transfer, and I think he wanted to transfer to Valdosta. And I know they pronounce it differently, but that's how I say it, Valdosta. And he was supposed to go play over there and help them win a state title. And then they rolled him ineligible. And then a couple weeks later, he's playing at Grayson. 7A, number 1 team in the state. And they go and win the state title. And when they won the state title, I think it was 2020. When they won the state title, and he was the quarterback, in the championship game, he beat Sam Horn again. He beat Collins Hills. That was the team. Travis Hunter's on that team. Travis Hunter, Sam Horn. Who's Sam Horn? He's a quarterback at Missouri. He's a freshman quarterback at Missouri. So, when you see Brady Cook on the field, that's a redshirt freshman. Okay, cool. Brady Cook struggling on the field. Everybody wants to see Sam Horn come in. Jake Garcia is sitting down in Miami going, oh, you guys want to see Sam Horn come in? I'm better than him. I beat him twice in high school. I know everything that guy does. I'm better than him. And Jake Garcia transfers to Missouri to just kind of big brother him and punk him and say, hey, I'm going to be the starter here. I think it's intriguing that Jake Garcia could potentially beat them all out because he's the alpha male and knows he can beat them. But, man, I've seen Sam Horn play football. And either Travis Hunter made him look really good or that kid's a damn baller. I watched him. He's a hell of a player. I really like Sam Horn. Now, Jake Garcia transferred to a new school every year in high school. Just different school every time. He's a mercenary. This kid is not loyal to anybody. I'm telling you right now. So, staying at Missouri, I'm not impressed. I don't think it's going to happen. Even if he wins the job and plays well, I think he tries to go to a bigger school. Just get more spotlight. But it is what it is. He needs to come home to San Diego. Jake Garcia needs to come home to San Diego. Okay. More power to you. I just say that it's really interesting to me that consistently players will transfer from schools they can't start at into the SEC to become starters. Think about that. It just happened. Buckner can't start at Notre Dame. He's going to go to Bama to be a starter. Jake Garcia can't start at Miami. He's going to go be a starter. They keep transferring to be starters, okay? Now we got Brett Gabbert here. Brett Gabbert, Miami of Ohio. This is Blaine Gabbert's little brother. Miami of Ohio was devastated when he jumped in the portal. He withdrew, and he's going back to Miami of Ohio. So shout out to him. Because when he jumped in the portal, they were going to lose their best shot. Now, Brett Gabbert, they got him a weapon. And I want to challenge you guys. I hope you're taking notes and you're watching this right now. I need everybody to go and look up these highlights of a guy. Now, I made a video on him. His name is Gage Larvadane. And Gage Larvadane is coming up from southeastern, I think it's just southeastern, right? Southeastern Louisiana? Southeastern Louisiana. The Tigers? Lions. Southeastern Louisiana. Gage Larvadane, I think he's a basketball player as well. This man is explosive, dude. He's explosive. So I'm really excited for the weapon they got, Brett. I'm really excited for what he does. Shout out to him. There's Malik Hornsby. He'll be the starting quarterback at Texas State. And I see in the chat here, somebody just said Thomas Castellanos to Boston College. A solid pickup for them. So, yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, Thomas Castellanos has a chance to start, has a chance to compete. He's from Ware County here in Georgia. Played down, this is all in southern Georgia, right near the, what is it called? Right near Florida border. I forget what they call that area. I'm not from around there. Valdosta area, Ware County, Warner Robins, all that stuff. And Thomas Castellanos, in high school, watching him play, he was a beast. So leaving UCF, and is it UCF that he transferred from? And he's going to Boston College. Shout out to him. Yeah, I will tell you right now, it's a good move. I'm sorry, I'm playing with my dog as I talk to you guys. But when I looked on 24/7 Sports, and these knuckleheads don't know what they're doing. When I looked on 24/7 Sports, they had Thomas Castellanos 100% to Texas State on the crystal ball. And I thought, man, that's really weird. Because they have Malik Hornsby right here on the screen. Malik Hornsby. Malik Hornsby is better, to me, better than Thomas Castellanos. Malik Hornsby is a guy who was at Arkansas. Please get down, sweetie. Please get down. Thank you. He was at Arkansas, and he's a wide receiver. He's a wide receiver. He's 4.3 speed. He's one of the fastest players out there. They want to get him. He's explosive. This is a wide receiver. But the way Texas State got him, they said, hey, we'll let you play quarterback. G.J. Kinney, great coach, said, hey, he's 34 years old, young guy. He said, we'll keep you a quarterback. You can play. And then they go and get Drew Donnelly, a speedster. And the two of them are the two fastest players. Drew Donnelly's a transfer from Cincinnati. Two of them fastest players on Texas State. So, and then you got Mikey Keene here. Mikey Keene is the starter at Fresno State. He's an alpha male, bro. He's from Arizona. Went to UCF. Was just supposed to go back up Dylan Gabriel and just chill. And out of nowhere, Dylan Gabriel goes down with a season-ending injury like week 1 or week 2. And Mikey Keene plays the rest of the season and wins like 7 out of 10 games. Mikey Keene balls out as a true freshman. Just does everything he needs to do. And it's amazing. And they have the nerve to, Dylan Gabriel leaves town. He goes and transfers to Oklahoma. And Mikey Keene's sitting there. He's like, yo, I'm going to be the starter. No, you're not. They go and get Mason Rice Plumlee because they don't give they don't care right? Their job is to find the best players they can find. And although Mikey Keene's a great feel-good story, Rice Plumlee is the truth. He's at Ole Miss. He couldn't start at Ole Miss anymore. He lost his job to Matt Corral. Dude, Matt Corral's a hell of a player, right? So Rice Plumlee, his freshman year, somebody go look it up. His freshman year, he ran for over 200 yards against LSU. Mason Rice Plumlee, over 200 yards against LSU as a freshman quarterback in the SEC. True freshman. And LSU was the number 1 ranked team in the country. I think the final score was something like 50-30 or something. But this man went out there and balled, and he rushed for over 100 yards. He rushed for over 1,000 yards his freshman year. He's an athletic quarterback. White dude, plays baseball, plays football, dual threat quarterback. I think he's going to light up the Big 12. The Big 12 is going to be on notice. Every time Mason Rice Plumlee's on the field, you got to be like, well, this guy is everything. So Mason Rice Plumlee beats out Mikey Keene. Just stone cold, beats him out. And it's a shame because Mikey Keene can really play some football. And he's a fan favorite. Everybody likes him. So Mikey Keene, being an Arizona kid, says, man, that's cool. I want to move closer to home anyways. Jake Hayner's going to the pros. Shout out to Jake Hayner being drafted in the 4th round to the Saints. Dude, 4th round quarterbacks. Shout out to Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins. Jake Hayner's your next great one. Nonetheless, Mikey Keene goes over to Fresno State, and Fresno State has a quarterback there. Last name Woods. I think his first name's Joshua. Let me double check that. Joshua Woods, quarterback. Joshua Woods. Yeah, Joshua Wood. Singular Wood. He's a kid from Graham, Washington. And in high school, they won state. And what's cool is after they won their state title, they went to play another state champ. And Joshua Wood was the only star player on that team that I know of. And Joshua Wood plays Collins Hill, the state champ from Georgia. 7A state champ. This is Travis Hunter and Sam Horn again. This time they won the state title, right, the next year. They go and play each other after the season. And Joshua Wood wins the game on the last play with a Hail Mary. And they beat Collins Hill. And then he goes to Fresno State, sits the bench to Jake Hayner. But that dude's a hell of a football player. He sticks out. When you watch the game, you're like, holy smokes, how good is Josh Wood? This kid is great. So I'm really impressed with Josh Wood and what he's doing. But he beat out so many other guys for second string. Mikey Keene still showed up and took the whole room. Mikey Keene's the starter right now. Josh Wood's backing him up. And then 2 other Fresno State quarterbacks jumped in the portal. One of them was Robinson. Matt Robinson, he was a transfer from Illinois. He went over there to start. He thought he was going to start, going from a Power 5 to a Group of 5. He'd been there for 2 years, never going to start. So he left. But anyways, Drew Pine, I think he starts at Arizona State. We'll see. There's a ton of guys there. Christian Veilleux, whatever his name is here. Christian, I think he played high school ball in Canada, if I remember correctly. Huge prototypical size. Got to Penn State, was over his head, bro. Like snapbacks. He didn't know what was going on. It was like, what is this? Right? So he just transferred to Pitt. Now, there's going to be a quarterback battle at Pitt, but I think Phil Jurevich is going to win it. He's down here at the bottom of the screen. Phil Jurevich's going to win that battle at Pitt over him. Phil Jurevich was the starter at Boston College. Look, I'm not mad at Boston College, but when I watch Boston College on tape, and this goes for me watching Zay Flowers' film, I saw the same offense over and over and over. The same offensive schemes, plays. As a DB, I read every route before it went. Like, I already knew what was happening. As I'm watching the tape, I'm like, oh, this is going to be this. This is what they do on third down. This is what they do on third. And I learned it in, I want to tell you, I learned it in 20 minutes watching 2 different games. By that time, I knew the offense going into game 3, 4, 5, 6, and I watch every single game. So I was like, oh my God, this is an elementary offense. And this is why they lost to UConn 13-3. Boston College had a terrible offense, and this is Helfrey's fault. The head coach of Boston College, Helfrey, is not a college coach. He's an NFL defensive backs coach. I think he went to Ohio State teaching DBs, coaching DBs, and then he got his job as a head coach. All he knows how to do is teach DBs how to get to the pros. He don't do anything else. So their offense was atrocious on tape. I was not impressed with anything they were doing. So Phil Jurevich, having one of the best receivers in the country in Zay Flowers, but not being able to utilize it the way you want it, it's just problematic for me. And I just don't know how good he is because the offense was so elementary. So But I still think he's better than Christian Velu or whatever his name is. Now, Jacoby Criswell, up here, Arkansas, Jacoby Criswell. One day, you guys are going to hear about Jacoby Criswell being one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and I just want you all to know where you heard it first. You heard it from me first. If you've never heard of him, you heard it here today. Don't ever forget it. Jacoby Criswell's the guy. So, what happened? Jacoby Criswell was a baller in high school in Arkansas. Goes, signs out of high school, goes and signs with North Carolina. Mac Brown, Phil Longo, offensive coordinator. Phil Longo's a genius, okay? Phil Longo is a mastermind with quarterbacks. This is Sam Howell, Drake May, and Jacoby Criswell. That's what was supposed to happen, okay? Jacoby Criswell, Phil Longo, by the way, is now at Wisconsin, and that's why you got all those quarterbacks transferring to Wisconsin. Shout out to Braden Locke, Nick Evers, Mordecai. Like, everybody wants to be at Wisconsin because of Phil Longo. And he just left North Carolina. So is Drake May going to have a drop-off? Oh, my God. He just lost Jazz Downs. Okay, so anyways, Jacoby Criswell gets to North Carolina, and you're backing up guys who are professionals. You're backing up the Sam Howells. You're backing up the Drake Mays. These 5-star dudes. You can't beat them out. He was a 4-star guy. They knocked him down to 3 when he transfers. Shout out to 24/7 Sports for not knowing what they're doing when it comes to reevaluating players. But nonetheless, going to Arkansas, he knows he's not going to start this year, but he alleviates their loss of Malik Hornsby. Malik Hornsby leaving Arkansas, going down to Texas State to be the starter. Jacoby Criswell's just sitting there going, all right, I'll start next year. I'll start the next year. And he's ready, but he's closer to home, and that's what he wanted to do, was be closer to home. I already talked about Tyler Buckner. I think he starts at Bama. I don't see any other reason why they would offer him. You know Brendan Lewis is going to start. This is a former Colorado quarterback. He's not great, but he's going to start at Nevada. Nevada's got a new head coach. They just hired him. He was the linebackers coach at Oregon. So if you see a lot of Oregon transfers going to Nevada, it's because they got the inside track. It's because their coach was just there, and he knows all the linebackers. So he's getting like the 3rd, 4th, 5th string linebackers from Oregon to come over. He's getting Sean Dollars from Oregon to come over, running back, right? And he's from Mater Dei as well. But he's getting a ton of guys from Oregon to come to Nevada. Nevada's got great transfer class. I kid you not, guys. When I go pull up my transfer portal class, I'm going to pull it up. Let me see where I have Nevada ranked. I'm going to show you guys. Look at this. Look at this. I don't mean to curse. But Nevada is ranked 16th for me in the country when it comes to impact. And what I mean by impact score is their transfers are going to impact their win totals. Their transfers are going to impact how they actually do next season. That's what I mean by impact. So shout out to Nevada and everything they're doing. They're doing great, and they got a decent quarterback in Brendan Lewis. Whether anybody wants to hear it or not, that's a good get for them in the transfer portal. Another quarterback is Hank Bachmeier right here, going to La Tech. So Hank Bachmeier used to be the starting quarterback at Boise State, leaving Boise State, going to La Tech, playing for Sonny Cumbie. Great air raid offense. Sonny Cumbie, a disciple of Mike Leach and the air raid offense at Texas Tech. So shout out, and former quarterback. And then now you got Hank Bachmeier going there. He also got DeColdis Crawford, wide receiver from Nebraska, coming back home. They lost Trey Harris. Trey Harris was their 1,000-yard receiver, just transferred to Ole Miss. I get it. But La Tech has some really good players. And I actually like La Tech's transfer portal class. If I can bring this rankings back over, I don't know where La Tech. There they are, 25th. I have La Tech 25th. They just got the Markham brothers. You don't know, they're the twin brothers from Long Beach Poly. They were at Arizona State. One was a safety, one was a corner. They quit the team because Herm Edwards got fired, and they quit the team in October. They're like, no, we're out of here, bro. You railroaded our coach. We're not playing for you. And they've been chilling in the portal ever since. They were late signings, and they both, package deal, going to La Tech. I'm really excited for what La Tech's building, what they're doing. It's a huge upgrade at quarterback. Hank Bachmeier. I think they had Liddy last year. It's just a guy. Wait. Hold on. Didn't I just see Liddy? Give me a second. Uncommitted. Give me a second. Watch this. Load more players. I thought I saw a guy named Liddy down here. Oh, man. Oh, brother. There it is. Landry Liddy right here. La Tech. They're saying he hasn't signed anywhere. Well, that's not true. He's at UAB. He's slated to be the starter at UAB for Trent Dilfer. Not a good quarterback. Not great. But it's a huge upgrade to get Hank Bachmeier from Landry Liddy. I think he was at, no, he wasn't at Texas State. But there's Caden Becker. Hey, he just signed. Caden Becker, 3-star. He just signed with Nebraska. He's from Nebraska, went up to Wyoming. He was playing at Wyoming, and now he's transferring back to Nebraska, backup quarterback. When you see Nebraska use a scholarship on a backup quarterback like Caden Becker, you know he's not going to be the starter. They just lost Casey Thompson, and they go and backfill it with Caden Becker. That tells you Nebraska's not going to sign they're not going to sign a lot more players, not in the transfer portal, because they just use the scholarship. Scholarships are currency, bro. You only got $85, and you just spend $1, you're not going to be signing more players. Not if you're throwing scholarships at this guy right here. So Caden Becker got a scholarship, but anyways, I digress. I was just like, I saw this earlier, and that's how my memory works, guys. My memory's insane. I just scrolled through this real quick, and that's an error on their website because they're saying he hasn't signed anywhere. This is the non-sign list that I was going through earlier. Remember, I was talking about Zach Roseman just not too long ago, and I just went like that. I just scrolled real quick and was like, hey, hold on. That's not right. There's another guy, Hunter Herring. He's at ULM. They're saying he doesn't have an offer. Hunter Herring is committed to ULM and played spring ball at ULM. Dude, I'm done with these 24/7 guys. Update your website. Stay on top of it, bro. I'm one man. I'm one person, and I know this website better than them. I don't know how many people are running this website, but it ain't enough. It ain't enough. All you need is one Rico. I don't mean to speak in the third person, but my goodness. All right, back to this list. We're at Phil Jerkovic. I already talked about him. Jacob Conover. You know, I feel bad for Jacob Conover. He was at BYU, transferring to Arizona State. He was one of the first guys to jump in the transfer portal and commit to Arizona State. Unfortunately, Kenny Dillingham just kept recruiting like he isn't there. He just kept getting more kids. Like, we didn't just get Jacob Conover from BYU. It's got to suck when you sign at a school and they keep bringing dudes in like you're not here. They go and sign Rashad out of high school. You're supposed to do that. Fine. But they just kept going, hey, how about you, man? You want to come over? Hey, how about you? You interested? They just kept signing quarterbacks in the transfer portal. Drew Pine came over. It's nuts. Jacob Conover's like, well, I left BYU because they're getting Keaton Slovis. Well, bro, you probably should have stayed and tried to beat that dude out because this ain't happening. Now, there's Chance Nolan going to TCU, like I said earlier. If you guys didn't know, Chance Nolan, he was the starting quarterback at Oregon State. He got injured. But he was starting, I think, 2 years. But he was starting a while at Oregon State. He gets injured. He gets so injured with his neck that he has to go to the hospital. And he has to be, like, bedridden, I think, or something. He missed class. He missed classes. He had to drop classes. And that hurt his eligibility, his academic eligibility. So when he entered the transfer portal back in the winter, he couldn't enroll in any schools. He couldn't qualify for admissions because he had missed so many classes. So he was trying to they were trying to sign him to Indiana. And then Indiana went and signed the kid. What's his name? I'll scroll down and find his name. You guys know who I'm talking about. The kid from Tennessee. Somebody put it. Martin? Something Martin. You guys know. I'm sorry. I don't like not knowing. I got to go find him. How's he not here? Man, shout out to this website for not knowing. I'll just go pull it up on another website. I ain't got time for these dudes. Give me a second. I apologize. It's hard to know every name in the world and never mess up, but I'm with you guys. Yeah, Taven Jackson. What did I say Martin for? Taven Jackson. His brother played basketball. He was a stud. So, yeah, Taven Jackson transferring took Chance's spot because Chance Nolan was supposed to be the guy and go to Indiana. And then out of nowhere, a JSU YouTuber was just talking bad about you on live. All right, Bankroll. Shout out to them. Those are children, bro. I'm the truth. Welcome to the channel. Nonetheless, so Chance Nolan finally goes to TCU. He's just added depth. Chandler Morris is the starter. Chance Nolan is going to be there. We'll figure it out. Emory Jones probably going to be the starter at Cincinnati. Good for them. CJ Ogbonna, I don't know what he's doing up here. I don't know. This ain't alphabetical. I don't know what this is, but CJ Ogbonna does not belong here. He played last year at Southeast Missouri State, transferring to the Buffalo Bulls. This is not noteworthy. This is not somebody I would talk about. Yeah, this is not it. CJ Ogbonna is not it, bro. Nothing special. Never played. He didn't even play last year. He didn't. I promise. I think he's a JUCO guy, if I remember correctly. JT Daniels will be starter at Rice. Hey, Jay Butterfield going to San Jose State. Good for him. And, yeah, I think I'm going to stop here. I got Eli Stowers right here. A&M to New Mexico State. Shout out to them for winning their first bowl game in a couple years, and Eli Stowers will be the starter coming over. Hey, dude, hold on. I can't stop here. There's Cameron Cooper right here. Cameron Cooper is the biggest bust, west of the Mississippi. Cameron Cooper coming out of high school, 4-star guy. Where did he go? Washington State. Couldn't break the starting lineup at Washington State after a couple years. Transfers to Hawaii. Never played at Hawaii. Then they go and fire their coach and hire Timmy Chang. And Timmy Chang does his thing and gets rid of Cameron Cooper. And Cameron Cooper is now going to Southeast Louisiana, those Lions I was talking about earlier. Southeastern Louisiana. Yeah, my bad. So nonetheless, my bad. Who? You guys don't even know these kids. It's crazy. I'm going to look down here, just some interesting stories. There's Thomas. We already talked about him. Sam Vidlak, if you don't know, coming out of high school, thought he could play some ball. He's transferring all around the world. Thought he was going to go somewhere. Went to Boise State eventually and couldn't start there either. So now he's at Montana. So Sam Vidlak finally got to the FCS where he belongs. Shout out to him. Xavier Ward, not to be confused with Cam Ward, also transferred to Washington State. Couldn't start, lost the job, but now he's at Sam Houston State. So good for him. Bryce Archie, that's a California kid. I'm sorry, that's a Georgia kid. Where did he play? Archer? No, not Archer. Georgia. Milton? No. Drawing but I don't want to click on it. I don't want to click on it and be wrong. I don't like being wrong. Where did Bryce Archie play high school ball? Milton. Milton? Let me click on it. McEachern. I'm fired. I'm fired. I knew it was an M. How about that? I knew it was an M. I was pretty close. So, and then I knew it. If I clicked on it, they all go away. Well, guys, that's going to be the live for tonight. I just wanted to talk about quarterbacks in the transfer portal. I hope I touched on every quarterback that's available, at least the top 25. I hope I touched on some of these guys going to schools that'll make an impact. Like I said, I cover 133 teams. Not everybody can know every single team like I do. Okay? I know it doesn't work that way. But just remember, Rico knows. So I hope you learned something. Okay, guys? Have a blessed evening. Like and share. Thank you for being here. Had fun.